Hello, folks.
It's like we do anything. It's just like
Yeah,
strange.
we're getting there. We were just a little slow on the button. Leave me alone. All right, a little slow today. It's fine. All right, guys. Unlike The Rock, we show up every week. So here we go. He, she's,
Uh-huh.
theys, and all those who slay. Let's talk about wrestling. Let's drop some hot takes and see who survives the chaos. Welcome to Kicking Out at 2. I am Michael, and with me is the Empress of Opinion, and the reason we keep the mute button close if you aren't wearing headphones, Tori.
That was solid.
Tori, how are you today?
And if you need a laugh, now that Rose tweeted corn always feels like a bunch of tiny explorers returning from an expedition.
Okay. All right.
This is why I
Um,
don't get on here.
does it still feel that way for Goldberg? Because heard he eats it the long way. So I just
I mean,
anyway, we are going to jump straight into the news because we got so much news to get through. One of them is a massive story. We're going to leave that one for last because obviously that's going to be a lot of conversation. So we'll go through some fun stuff and then we'll have to talk about the unfortunate massive elephant in the room. Chelsea Green signs a new deal. She recently said that she had decided she was going to resign. She's re-signed a long-term deal. Originally re-signed in late 2022, debuted in 23. Her deal was set to expire this year in 25, but she went ahead and signed a new multi-year extension. So awesome. We're going to keep Chelsea around for a while. There was some rumors going around asking about if there was any heat from the WrestleMania roast that happened back in the day. So is there any heat towards the participants that were in that? Despite backlash, talent involved in the roast aren't facing any heat with WWE management. Some fellow wrestlers were a little uneasy about it, but WWE booked them for the show knowingly that there were going to be like possibly some flack from it. But overall, seems to be there's nothing internally going on as far as any heat about that. So much ado about nothing. Um, the only problem I have, I've seen one clip from it, and someone could not say Naya's name. It was Nia Jax the entire time, and that was like grating on my nerves. Um, Fightful does tease more contract news. So there's known items for I don't know this person's name. EJ Nudka from
oh,
ROH. His contract expired. Uh,
yes, I heard that. He tweeted about it, I think.
yeah, and then there's two new signees for TNA: Harley Hudson and Mila Grace. So getting two new females in TNA. That's awesome to see coming down the pike there. Anytime someone gets a job, I'm very excited by that, which means I'm going to be very sad here shortly. Um, backstage is GCW. I don't know if you remember this guy. Do you remember ACH?
Yeah.
So ACH was sitting backstage at GCW. Um, this is possibly one of his first appearances, possibly since July of 23, showing up at a wrestling event. So
Have you been watching NXT tonight?
tonight, no, I have not.
So the Battle Royal was starting, and the
Mhm.
lights went out, and all you heard
Evening Stampede.
was a guitar strum.
Is the righteous down there, or is it Elijah?
No, Elias,
Oh, that's what. Yeah, did they say Elias or Elijah?
Elijah.
Okay. Hey, how you doing, Robert? Appreciate you being here. Jeff Cobb, the WWE confirmed again. Obviously, we have already been told that he was going to be coming, but just kind of amid speculation, Fightful did report, yeah, he's still planning on coming. WWE has listed him internally for months ago. He
I'm
did.
real curious what they're going to do with him.
Yeah, walk with Elijah for sure. Funny story, Stampede. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but so Tori used to hate Elias back in the day. Uh,
I did. He was the original fuck that guy.
yeah. Well, hold on. So we gotta specify here. Kayfabe, fuck that guy, not
Yes,
real fuck that
yes.
guy.
Not like Hulk Hogan, fuck that
We,
guy.
we need to get a new phrase for that, like, because
We
it's
do.
two different things. But yeah, no, she absolutely hated him, and it wasn't until like a while from him being on Raw until you
Yeah.
finally like started to get into it.
I don't even remember what happened, um, or what caused the change
Just
that
one
I
day
was
you
just
decided you
like,
were gonna walk with him.
I was like, you know what? He's not that bad. I think part of my problem was his presentation in NXT.
Oh, see, no, I loved the Drifter, just
I
walking,
didn't
meandering about in the crowd. That was always
I
fun to me.
just it was one of those. I think as it started going longer, I was okay with it. But initially, I'm like, this is so stupid.
Yeah.
But it did get more entertaining, and it's fun.
Um, so sorry, before we went on the Elijah train there. So Jeff Cobb has finished up his New Japan dates, including an unexpected tag title run that kind of came out of nowhere from everything being reported. The deal was described as good, but we haven't heard yet brand destination, excuse me, of where he's going to go.
Is it
So it's still not known.
deal is described as good as opposed to being described as bad? Like,
Hey, we've seen some bad deals happen this past week, and we'll talk about those. I like that. So maybe FRO. FRO is fuck right off. Like that's the fuck right off guy, and then
that's
fuck that guy.
yeah.
All right, I'm good with that.
Fuck
But
that guy kayfabe fuck right off is Hogan and Steiner.
which, speaking of fuck right off, both MVP and Shelton have said today, fuck right off to
Did
Hulk
you see
Hogan.
that whole thing?
I did. Hogan not be able to first of all say Shelton Benjamin's name correctly, and then saying like I was the first one that had Brock Lesnar, and I was right there and facing Benjamin Shelton. Jesus Christ. We have been doing this podcast, shoot, couple years?
Officially like 2 years, unofficially like 16.
Yeah. We were always one of those, we would sit and watch pay-per-view together, and we would talk shit the entire time about what was going on, and usually had people, more often than not, some sort of significant other that we'd have to be explaining things as we're talking about what's going on in the show, um, trying to spend time with them while still enjoying the passion that we have there. But yeah, officially it's been about 2 years. Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah. I saw that, Robert. I saw that that they were gonna have
Dynamite
Rhino
and
showing up.
Collision.
Yeah, that's cool. That he's got to be on his tail run by now, because I mean it's like he's 112 and like he's built like a car. So I assume at some point he's gonna have to hang it up. But good to see him still out there working. Um, Subculture backstage at TNA tapings. So we actually had, you might remember these names too, Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews, also known as Subculture, were backstage at TNA. So
Okay.
maybe we're going to see them pop up at some point. That'd be nice. Those two dudes were massively talented
Yeah.
and just kind of fell off the radar for a while. So, former Impact champs. They had visa issues, which is why they weren't here for that
Okay.
time period. So,
They
you know,
both were in WWE for a minute.
yeah, for a hot second during the whole like we're gonna show cruiserweights time period that didn't go over well. Um, Mercedes Moné, the big to do about this is a big to do about nothing. A lot of people are saying she's got creative control. No, just everything that's been shown to her has been her winning. So I mean, she doesn't have creative control. Um, she even changed a planned New Japan win to a loss after a real injury. So like she doesn't have creative control, and she's not winning titles because she said she's going to win them.
She's
She's
winning because they want to put them on her.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's
she's
a
a
big
huge
name, and
name. Whether people like her or not, she is a huge name in the wrestling industry.
yeah. Well, and I figured she's part of that group, so I think the combination here works well in this conversation, which is she's Charlotte. People hate Charlotte for some reason, but as much as you hate her, she's the fucking best. I mean, she gets in that ring as long as she's willing to play ball, and she is 100% the best one in the ring. So, like, you can't really say much,
I'm the
unfortunately.
first. I'm the first to say that Mercedes has not had the best matches. I'm the first to say it.
Hmm.
I've been relatively harsh about some of her matches,
Yeah,
but I love Mercedes, and as long as they want to keep putting titles on her, do
yeah.
I think she should have taken that L to Athena? Yes, or there should have been something else to knock them both out, or something. I don't think her clean beating Athena made sense.
Yeah.
But overall, okay.
I,
I drink a ton of water, so I'm gonna be up and down a few times.
that's fine.
Just keep going.
Stampede, absolutely, it's going to be a big match this weekend for Mercedes. Her and Jamie Hayter, I think, is one that a lot of AEW fans have been waiting on. With Jamie kind of being missing for that while during the start of the Mercedes train. It's absolutely going to be amazing to see those two in the ring. Jamie is such a hard hitter, and I think that works well with Mercedes because Mercedes is so good at selling. So having those two there is going to be a fun little match. Absolutely. Her being the champ in all those different organizations is doing nothing but drawing eyes to those other territories and other companies. So it's not a bad thing that she's in the role that she's in. Um, so by no means should we have any issues with her being that champion. The whole idea of her being in creative control and all that. I mean, it's just people not understanding what the company's trying to do, um, and that's fine. Whatever they think. I'm fixing the title here because I forgot to fix it before we got started here. We got talking about other things.
Oh no, 100% Mercedes and Athena's not done. I'm all for that. Hot chance of pants. Hey, come here. Chance
Uh,
of pants.
Got a little
Get
mascot
this. Come
gonna
here.
pop up here. Hopefully,
There he is.
there's Chance.
Chance of pants. Look.
He don't care.
Nope. He's getting pets. That's all he cares
That's
about.
right. Um,
Yeah. Good boy.
So another bit of contract in question. Hey, Sped,
Sped, what's
welcome in.
happening?
Unfortunately, I don't have anything about Dom today. So I mean, if you can stay around if you want to, but I don't have any Dom news today. Um,
If you leave because we don't talk about the Dom, that's just rude.
um, oh, see, I didn't even know about those ones, Sped. So apparently, Mercedes defends this weekend against AZM and Mina Shirakawa at the Resurgence pay per view as well. Um, I
Okay.
I was just thinking, oh no, that's not this weekend. I was thinking Double or Nothing, but that's still a few
No,
weeks away.
her and Hater's not. That's I was like, that's not till like the end of the month.
Yeah, that's my bad. My days are all mixed up. Um, all right, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on the site to get to see that match this weekend. Um, Speaking of contract questions, though, MLW's Alex Kane is nearing free agency as well. Former MLW World and National Openweight Champion. Big push as part of the Bamaye, I hope I'm saying that right, Fight Club since joining in 2021. No word yet on whether he's re-signing there or moving on somewhere
What
else.
is Alex Kane?
Um, Pretty talented dude, so I hope. Um, That's okay. Tori usually does that too. She'll space out here shortly when the NXT starts getting
Oh
good.
no, it's on the other room. I'm
Oh, is
not
it another?
watching it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, Another little bit of contract issues. The Thekla Dunn. I hope I'm saying that right too. With Stardom, is U.S. bound. After 3+ years in Stardom, Thekla is heading
Okay.
stateside. So
Yes, I saw that. There's been a lot of debate about where she's going to show up.
yeah, AEW is heavily interested. WWE sources have said that they've had their eye on her since they got Julia back in the scouting wave. So, and then independents are also lining up for possible bookings too. So, we'll have to see where that shakes out in the end of this. Um, yeah, on to the meat of it all. This past week, WWE
Black
released
Friday again.
a lot of people. I do want to go ahead and specify in this before we start talking about who got released and all that stuff. There's a lot of misconceptions. Not all this is Nick Khan. People automatically assume TKO had everything to do with it. The way the structure works right now is that Triple H does have the final say. So much so that a source has even said to Sean Ross Sapp himself, saying that if Trip wants you to stay, you're going to stay.
Yeah,
So even if
I
someone
saw
else,
that.
even if someone else put their name on it, he still has to have the okay for it. Um, I think she should go to AEW. I
Go
don't
back,
know how well the fit would be in
go
NXT
back
or
and read Sped's.
when first joined Big Mike and
Uh,
I mean,
I've done it. I can't
yeah.
say anything. I've done it.
Hey, I'm with you here. So you see the titles down below our names here. You got the talent, you got the brains. I can't watch something else. I can't do that and do this.
My ADHD works perfectly for it.
we would be so off the rails if I start watching something
Yes.
else while I'm doing the show. That's why the watch-alongs are so fun because we don't have to like have structure. But anyway, so all right, let's go through this real quick. There's a bunch of cuts. I want to give them as much time and attention as we can because it's definitely worth it. So the main roster cuts, we had Dakota Kai, Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler, Katana Chance, Kaden Carter. Shotzi is not technically released, but they have told her that she's not going to renew her contract, which is coming up soon. All of those 90-day non-complete clauses are going to apply. So
Yeah.
we're at least not going to see them on a main stage for 90 days. NXT cuts, Gigi Dolan, Cora Jade, Eddie Thorpe, Jakara Jackson, Riley Osborne, Javier Bernal, all of Gallus, which includes Joe, Mark Coffey,
Wolfgang.
Wolfgang, Danny Palmer, Ora Mensa. All of those have 30-day non-complete compete because it was an NXT contract. What were you about to say?
We split up Metaphor and released two of them.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's get through them, and then
Okay.
then we can talk about some of our reactions here. So, other noteworthy exits: Shayna Baszler was released, and that was, I mentioned her name already, but like that was a big one that a lot of people questioned as far as like why did that happen, because she's been a stalwart there. She's been like Natty, for instance. Like Natty's just she's there. She's always there. You don't need to worry about that. Um, Dakota Kai is already attracting attention from other companies. Specifically, Grunkle Dave himself even put out there saying that apparently AEW, which here's the thing with Dave, with Dave Meltzer, if it's anything AEW related, usually he's pretty spot on, and that's because he's like, and he says he's not, but I think he's somewhere in the pocket of that company, and nothing wrong with that. That just means that his stuff with them is going to be solid most of the time. He said that they wanted her the first time that she got let go, and that she got then the choice to go back to WWE and chose to go back to WWE. So I would not be surprised if they call her up again and say, "Hey, come on
First
over."
of all, Dakota Kai is dating Eddie Thorpe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. How did he pull that? The fuck? Secondly, Shayna was in the WWE from 2017 to 2025,
Mm-hmm.
8 years.
Yeah.
But it seems like so much longer because of everything she did.
Yeah.
Because her first 3-year run in NXT was nothing short of phenomenal.
Yeah. I didn't see the Stardom, but I would not be surprised of
I'm
Stardom trying to.
telling you, I
Yeah.
would love to see her go Stardom and do a good run there because I think it'd be good for her.
Yeah. Real
And I
quick.
don't say that as a knock. I just, having seen what a Stardom run has done for Anna Jay and so many others,
Yeah.
100% think it'd be good for Dakota.
Before we go through and kind of do our thoughts on all the different releases, I also want to throw out some names here that don't get talked about a lot. In these releases, we always harp on the wrestlers because they're the people that are in front of us. They're the people that we feel like we're part
Right.
of the journey. But there was also creative and backstage people. The creative writing SVP, Christine Lebrano, and digital staff, Edru Carr, excuse me, and Ryan Popola. They also got released as well. they're not talked about as much because we don't see them on a daily basis. But I want to go ahead and make sure that their names were out there too. Um, I could see that
She'll
actually.
every chance she gets, she'll do Bloodsport.
Oh,
She
for sure.
fucking loves. You can tell she loves that.
Well, and
I
as,
will say,
go ahead.
with what they're doing in AEW, bring her in as the opposing for Marina.
That's not a bad idea. They already got good chemistry together, so why not?
Even if it's just as a bounty hunter type thing, so she's or a contract
Yeah, Tony
just for
Tony
this,
hires someone to take care of that piece because
or
nobody else.
whoever,
Yeah,
like whoever they end up having as part of this, we're going against the Death Riders thing.
yeah,
Well, we went and found the right person for this, and it's Shayna Baszler, and I mean that's her name,
yeah.
so she can still use it. I agree, Stampede. I think Dakota. I think Cora definitely ends up there.
Oh, for sure.
I think she'll do it, but I think she's going to do a lot of independent bookings. I think the same for Gigi Dolan.
Yeah. So to kind of go through some of these, let's do it this way. What are the names that you are surprised about? Let's go with that.
I was really surprised by Jakara
Hmm.
just because I've seen the improvement.
Yeah.
I mean, if you keep her as a tag team with Lash, you could legitimately have put the tag titles on them, and you don't have a Marty situation.
Well, and you speaking of just of the women's tag in general, like this entire release almost kind of blew up that
It decimated
division
the women's tag division.
because you got
But
Caden and Katana, who are the only real legit, like born as tag team.
yeah,
You got Jakara that you let go. You got Dakota Kai that you let go, who's part of Damage Control. Um, go through some of these here. Cora Jade, who you've been tagging back with Roxanne for a while, and
or
now
you could put
now
her with any of
Jul.
a number of people.
Well, I'm saying that's what they were doing though. They were putting her
If
back with
you
Roxanne, and then now you switch that to Julia.
But if you were to split, if you're going to do what it looks like they're going to do and split Fallon Henley away from JC Jane,
Mm-hmm.
Cora would have been the perfect tag partner for that feud.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then you have Gigi and Shotzi, who they were doing the Chemical X thing with. Help me out here.
Tatum Paxley.
Yeah, thank you. Um,
100% Stampede. I'd love to see Jakara in Stardom.
yeah.
I think that would be so good for her. I have gotten really big on Jakara. I at first was like, who in the fuck?
Well, because it's too like it's why like so something blew up because Grunkle Dave popped out and said, well, the reason they got let go was because there were reports of them not working hard in the back, and so then a couple of people nailed that in there,
GT and Cora were like, no, sir.
which we'll talk about the Cora thing in a minute because the whole Cora thing is a whole other spin off of this thing. I've got like two things that spin off just from this story. Um, but like they came out and was like, no, we've been kicking ass back there. And Jakara is one of those you can see it. You can see that she has been working her ass off to get better. Because when she first started, I'm the same with you. When she was first with Metaphor, she was just kind of the pretty girl that was there. And then slowly and slowly and slowly, she started becoming more prevalent in that team with her and Lash. So I don't see that as being the issue, especially with some of the other people that were let go too. Eddie Thorpe, even though I've never understood his character, like I know he's been working hard because he's been being put out there. His I was less surprised about because nobody really got that character. Nobody really got he never got the pop that they were looking for him.
Nobody cared.
Um,
And I
also,
think part of the problem with Eddie's was they went back and forth on what his character was like 18 times.
yeah,
He was always Native American, which I don't have a problem with that.
right.
Bro was turning into Tatanka if he wasn't careful.
It was getting close.
And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's just that's where it looked like it was headed
Yeah.
because of what they were doing with
Well,
him.
it's when you make the part of it the entire whole. You can't make just being Indian your character. That's especially the way he was playing it because it was very much like the white man getting everything. No, we can't do that. That's in poor taste. Um, I was surprised by Braun. Um, Carl Fredericks from CMLL.
No, that's his real name.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, won't be surprised if he goes CMLL.
yeah, that would make sense. Um,
Braun,
here's the thing. Braun was good when you needed him, and that was the thing. Is like, so has he put on some bangers? No. However, who put over Bronson Reed as a killer? Braun,
that tsunami on the car.
yeah, that was Braun Strowman.
There's nobody else on this roster right now that you could do that with and it be believable in a one-on-one situation.
Yeah.
Now, and I wouldn't do it with Eric or Ivar just because of their neck issues.
Mm-hmm.
Otis, it's not believable.
Yeah.
It's not believable that Otis is a monster. They haven't done that.
Yeah.
They might as well bring Tucky back and just put Heavy Machinery back together because they're not doing anything.
We always see those glimpses, right? And it with me personally, because I love Otis. It always pains me because we see that glimpse, like we saw that glimpse here recently. You've got Rusev that comes in there, and like Otis stands up and he's gonna like protect, and then he just gets laid out again. It's like, come on, like just let him be just this big bastard that just like runs through people, because he's got the muscle, he's got the charisma. Let him do that.
It's one of those things. Braun, the only thing that I think would have made sense for Braun.
That's for sure. He did kind of call the Indies trash, and they're not going to forget that.
Well, and there's other things that are going to play that he's said too.
Yeah.
But the only thing that for me that would have made sense keeping him would have been putting him back with the Wyatts.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know that people would have bought
it. I don't know.
I don't know that people are going to buy the Wyatts at this point unless you put Alexa with them. I think that's going to be the saving grace if they do it.
Yeah. And just because, so that reminds me of another thing. Just kind of, our entire mission when we do this podcast is to try to get people to stop with the negativity and the trash that's in the IWC, and that's one I've been seeing lately. I've seen people say, "Well, how are you going to have those people still on a contract, not doing anything, and you let these other people go?" If you are saying that this person should have stayed and you should have fired the other guy, that's still a problem. Because letting the Wyatts go because they don't have something for them right now, then
just turn us off because I don't want to fucking hear it.
Yeah.
We're not doing that shit.
Yeah.
Do I think these people all deserve to lose their jobs? No. Do I think a good portion of them will get picked up somewhere else? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't disagree, Stampede. That was the only thing I could see making sense with him because nobody cared once Bronson got hurt.
Yeah.
We're not doing this whole, well, they should have fired this person. No, they shouldn't have. No, we're not doing that.
But yeah, it looks like the biggest hit was going to be the women's tag division out of who all's been let go here. Because even like if you want to throw Shayna on that too, Shayna's been doing that thing on her side too of being first of all in a trio, and then one of the trio gets let go, and then it's just her and Zoe, and then now she's let go, and so like that's another thing is like Zoe's a great talent, but what are you gonna do with her? Like her entire personality has been her working with Shayna since she got to the main roster. What do we do with her now?
The only thing I can think of that makes sense is either run her back to NXT or run her back through like Evolve.
Yeah.
If you do a championship in Evolve, putting Zoe there and putting the title on her to see how she does would make sense. I like Zoe. I don't think she can carry it by herself.
I don't think she can right now. I think there's still pieces missing. And unfortunately, I think sticking her with Shayna, though, didn't help that. Because Shayna also has some of those pieces missing. I love Shayna, and I think Shayna is a viable talent, but I do put her very much in that Natalya role, which is she's not one that's going to run the division, but she is there as a solid person that you can always put there to chase the head of that division and make it seem believable. But
I could see Zoe and with them now having the Intercontinental and the uh
US.
US. I went stupid.
It's all right.
I could see her chasing one of those.
Yeah, mid
I
card
don't
title.
see, even if she carried it, it's going to be a hold this, like several other people used to do.
Yeah.
We're not going to mention any names.
No.
Um,
Because that's a fuck right
but
off.
right. I just I don't see her lasting long.
Mm-hmm.
Ew. Angel Garza posted a picture of him and Del Rio.
All right, so hey, since you brought that up, we're gonna go ahead and move on. So WWE has acquired AAA. We've already talked about that. However, a massive rumor that's been going around here lately is that there's been a handful of people that have been signed specifically with WWE, and we're not talking like, because that was the thing. Some people have posted. There's a difference between inheriting contracts and buying contracts. The rumor being posted is that some of these people have been hired with WWE. Some of them, including Hio, Del Vikingo, Dr. Wagner, La Parca, La Hydra, Lady Flamer, Lady Maravilla.
Nobody had a
Nino,
problem with a damn one of those. Nobody cared about those. No one.
Nino Hamburguesa, which is now my favorite name of any wrestler.
What's his name?
Nino Hamburguesa, which I think is just little hamburger.
I was gonna say, is that like kids? Is he Cheeseburger's little brother? Is that Kids Burger?
I don't know.
Little boy burger?
But
What?
I love it. But the one that's causing all the stir is also Alberto Del Rio. He's been rumoured there as well. I do want to point out before this goes any further, no one of substance has said that this has happened, but it has taken over the internet. So I just want we're not going to talk. We're not going to talk. We're only going to talk about it because it's taken over the internet.
He is 100% a fuck right off too.
Yeah. So much so, like, I don't normally like to post, from a soapbox. I did post on my personal Twitter rather than the channel Twitter because I want to make sure it's very specific that it's coming from me, not from the channel. Whether the channel agrees with this or not, it's in poor taste. It's
As the
bad
fact
optics.
that you and I are the channel, you could have just posted it from this one.
Very, 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 very good point. But it's very bad optics because you have one person who has been doing her WWE apology tour, and absolutely, I think everybody's on board.
It
If
looked like she was coming back,
yeah,
and I feel like that ship just sailed the other fucking direction.
If this is valid, that's because that's the thing. It's like I started that soapbox with, if I am correct on this, if all this info has come out correctly, yes. That's the true thing that's saying
the question. Right, but that there hasn't been a confirmation either way.
Right.
And that's the problem, is nobody had WWE actually been worried about this, they would have said, hold up. He works for the company we bought. His contract was coming up. He re-signed with that company that we now own, but he's not coming here.
Yeah. So we'll have to see where all that actually goes. But if it's a case where they did actually hire him on, because that's the rumor, is that he was signed to a WWE contract, not a AAA. If he was signed to a WWE contract, between the issues with him and Saraya from the past, and he currently has a restraining order against him from Stephanie McCurr, from the stuff that happened to them, I believe in CMLL when they were in the same area together. So I mean, it's just bad optics, if nothing else. Of you're bringing in this person who has two high. I
know that's fucking right.
Absolutely not that good at PR. As you could tell by Triple H doing his run of different podcasts before WrestleMania, going, well, the fans just need to shut up and stop asking questions. And just watch the program. Sir, we've been asking questions since it started. I wanted to know why we couldn't get the dog to come to the ring with Hillbilly Jim, because the dog was fucking great. But yeah, so obviously though, I mean, I think we're going to have some crossover from the whole AAA thing. We already kind of had one because Vikingo had a little thing with
Oh, we're 100% getting Vikingo Chad Gable.
yeah.
It's happening.
Well, no,
Whatever they want to call Chad Gable's
Americano,
character.
Grande Americano. We have not validated that is Chad Gable.
I have caved on Ludwig Kaiser. I've caved on Giovanni Vinci. I've caved on JD McDonough. I'm not fucking caving on this one. Fuck him. It's Chad Gable.
I heard it might be Shorty G. But I don't know. So the other thing spun off.
For that.
I want to get off this because that's a whole bunch of negativity that could come up in that. But the truth of the matter currently, by everything that's reported, is he would be re-signing with AAA. No one has confirmed or denied one way or the other, but there has been no one of substance that have said he has signed with WWE specifically. So we can assume he probably re-signed his AAA contract, being their mega champion. It makes sense. And as we said, like in the original thought of when they bought it, if he's the champ, and that's like, there's not much WWE can do about that. Eventually, maybe they can get that pushed out, but like as it stands right now, there's not much they could do about that. Yeah, well, the Garza scheduled, and I think they're going to do really well down there. I think that's going to be great for them. They do not get get the recognition that they need up in WWE. Especially so, like, I don't know, did you ever get to see their finisher that they've done like one time because they've only won one match?
They don't win anything. They might as well be
it's
the
almost
BWO.
like a double windmill Alabama slam thing. It looks fucking devastating. I wish we could see it more.
It's one of those things. They might as well be running with Al Snow at this point.
I mean, what does everybody want? The other thing that spun off from these firings here is just a couple of quick things. First of all, Cora Jade has opened an OnlyFans and has already said that she's going to be stealing people's wallets out of this one, so I'm intrigued. The other thing she has said, though, is she brought up some issues. This was in the course of Dave saying what he said about the reason that these people had gotten fired is because they weren't working hard. She specifically said, been working my ass off. And while I'm working my ass off, I'm getting body shamed by peers, by management, and by fans. With her throwing in fans, I kind of wonder if this was more of a kayfabe thing, trying to keep that edge of being a heel, hoping maybe she goes to TNA, because TNA she had that little run there, and she had the thing with Tessa that they kind of started, and with her not going back with WWE, I kind of hope maybe that's what we're talking about, because we haven't heard anybody else say anything about it. But it does kind of open a thought of there might be some issues backstage in NXT with some of the management there.
Well, and here's the other thing. Except for, and I'm using these two as an example because they came through NXT, Nia and Piper.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the girls that come through NXT are ripped.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they shouldn't be. I'm not downplaying what they've done, and I'm not bagging on Nia or Piper because I'm huge fans of both. If that's the case, though, and it's on the low that they're basically like, I need you to drop 20 pounds or you're not getting on TV, then we have a much bigger problem. Let me rephrase that. They have additional problems, and it just hasn't gotten any better. Well, she dealt with a lot of injuries, too. Just because, and so I think that was part of Cora's problem too, was how many times did she get hurt? She was like Tegan.
Yeah.
You'd start something great with Tegan Knox, and then she'd get hurt. And then she'd come back and you start something else again with her. And she'd get hurt. And the same thing was happening with Cora.
It did seem that she started to get that injury bug. My main concern to bringing this topic up though is that I do hope that that is not going on back there. I hope that this is um, either a kayfabe thing for her, or if this is a grab to get attention rather than it being a severe issue down there. Um, I will say, as a bigger person, I feel like I can kind of say this. I'm like, obviously, I'm not a woman, so it kind of puts me off limits for that side of it. But um, it is not very often that you get someone the size of a Bray Wyatt, the size of a Piper, the size of a Nia, the size of an Otis. We were just talking about Otis a minute ago. That has that type of body and has that Ferrari engine, to have them go the speed they need to go. So I kind of attribute of why we don't see a lot more people that size in wrestling doing well is because of that. Because like, it's hard to be this size and do that. Some people just have that in them, and that's great. So I'm hoping it's just words. I'm hoping it's just talk. Nothing against her, because obviously a lot of hurt feelings out of all of this. I can see at least a list of those names of like, oh my god, I could not imagine that this person knew what was going on. Because like you have Gigi. Gigi just came off of what most of us thought was going to be her and Tatum getting the TNA tag titles.
Yeah.
And so like for her to be let go, like that's a crazy thought. Caden and Katana just came back and had a couple of matches. I could not imagine they saw this coming.
Once those two got out of NXT, they didn't connect with the fans. The gimmick was okay.
To me, the gimmick's the problem, because the gimmick was we're two party girls, and that was it. There was no other substance to it other than we're two party girls.
The best thing about Caden is the TikTok she does with Damien.
Yeah.
Apparently they've been together like 10 years or some shit. And he looked horrible Friday night. You can tell he'd had a rough few hours.
Yeah. I kind of wondered, I think we had this discussion before, and I think like we were under the understanding that they were just friends, but it's like, I don't know, he's in every TikTok of hers, and they've had TikToks at their house.
About them being together like 10 years, and I'm like, holy shit.
And plus his braids were too good. Like I could see her doing those for him.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
The one thing I want to bring up is just kind of an awe moment. Is this is just an assumption on my part. I've seen no reports of this or anything. I would assume Sean knew some of this was coming, and I think that's why we got that metaphor send-off, is because we knew this was happening. And so
possibly,
rather than just waking up one day and Noam is the only one there, especially the way it happened, because look exactly of how it happened. Lash is the one saying, I got to go do my stuff, and I think y'all need to do your own thing. And then it ended with Noam Dar staring at the cup going, it's just the two of us. That seems like such a send-off.
Yeah. So and I don't like it. I hate these releases, the way they do these. I get it. It's a business. I understand that side of it. I think you are missing so much by letting Gigi go.
Yeah.
You're missing so much by not renewing Shotzi. And yes, Shotzi has had the same problem that Cora had.
Mm-hmm.
She kept getting injured.
Yeah.
Speaking of, somebody said Shotzi's about to go on the greatest indie run of all time. She said, facts, I'm coming for Matt Cardona's throne.
Mm-hmm. Well,
okay.
She had to take down a tweet because like she'd already put out a tweet that said, here's my email for bookings. And then a tweet to the fans saying, I need you to at any company or any indie wrestler you want me to wrestle. And then within a couple of hours, I got taken down. And come to find out, it was because her contract's not done yet. And so I'm pretty sure she got a little
Oh.
smack on the hand going, no, not yet. You're still ours
I
for a little
guess
bit.
I look at it as fuck y'all. Y'all said I'm done.
Here's the thing. I think there's a lot of missed opportunities with some of this. First of all, Shotzi, um, you've got this deal with Netflix, right? And you're looking for content to throw in there, and you've got some great content that's going on. But you cannot tell me that you would not watch the show. And anybody that's in the chat here, we got quite a few people watching us now. Tell me you would not watch this show if Shotzi and Scarlett were doing haunted house overnights or something like that, like they currently do on YouTube. If they were doing that just for the personality alone, okay, you're not going to have her wrestle again. That's fine. Keep her on as a personality because her personality is amazing.
I don't know if you saw this 6 hours ago. Vincent and Dutch requested their release from their contracts,
Mm-hmm.
and it was granted. So they may still show up, just not as contracted talent.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I think they just need to slip over and walk with Elijah. Get that whole thing going still. But that's it for the news, though. Like I said, I want to stay off the AAA thing as much as I can, just because that's a shut off point. But two negative things that kind of spun out of this is that and the possibility that there might be something going on backstage. The only thing that gives me hope about that is that we haven't heard that from anybody else. No one else has said anything about any sort of toxicity going on back there. So I'm hoping this was just a weird situation. Some hurt feelings happened, and some words got said.
Did you catch how AJ addressed Finn last night?
I did not. I did catch him stuttering all over himself. They should have done that as a pre-tape because I don't know what happened with him live, but he like had a mental stroke.
Nah, he walked in and called him Prince.
Well, no, I get that. No, I did not catch that he called him Prince, but he had to re-say Intercontinental like 4 or 5 times because he just could not get it out, and it was weird. With Carrion would be good too.
I need Carrion to go. Go anywhere else. Anywhere else, he's a world champion.
I don't disagree with you. I don't.
They're never going to pull that trigger.
First of all, I need to know if this little revolution that he has started is an actual revolution, or are we pulling a trigger? Because now all of a sudden you have Carrion that did this interview, and now we're seeing backstage after that interview stuff, and he's still acting the same way. So I'm wondering, maybe those things weren't scripted, but like, if you remember, there was a situation back when Vince was still part of the game, and Vince had Paul come out, and he told Paul, "I want you to say anything you want to me, anything at all. I don't want to know what it is. Just make me money."
And Paul said, "Do you want to know?" And he said, "No."
Yeah. I wonder if this was the same thing with Carrion. Hey, I want you to go out there. I want you to say what's on your mind, say what's on your heart, say whatever you want to say. No pushback, no blowback for doing it. Just go do it. Because first of all, I don't think any of that was scripted. But I do wonder if the situation's been set up. Because now you've had a couple of more interviews from different people that were very similar to that. Of them talking about the problems with their own booking and their own career. So I would like to have that be a thing. Have this be a thing where he has started infecting the people around him. What's up?
Miles Bourne just won that battle royal for a title shot.
I don't hate it.
What the fuck?
I don't hate it. Maybe Randy can get it. Go ahead.
It says they posted it. Randy Orton's son is getting a title shot.
Yeah. Real quick, Stampede, they made it a point to mention AJ is a bit old. Yeah. Yeah, I like how they're playing that of like he's he's already past his prime. So it's yeah, it's a little weird. um, I would not be surprised if Karrion got a new deal too. Uh, just because, like, as much as I think he probably would shoot up higher in another place, I like his story. I just wish they would grasp onto it more and actually make something out of it. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on to the 3 count. So my first 3 count is Toni Storm versus Lady Frost. First of all, Lady Frost is one of my favorite indie wrestlers. I have followed her for a while as well. Those
the Twitter
two
game is pretty solid too.
Twitter game's really solid. These two girls knocked it out of the park. It was so good. There was a released German suplex that looked like it about killed um, almost killed Frost. And then of course, post match, Tony's amazing. Vintage timeless Toni Storm. Excuse me, I cannot talk. Things talking about I'm not a hard woman to find. She called them slop tarts. Talking about the girls in the back. She has said that she could be anywhere. And she said, I am queer and I am here. So it was a lot of fun. But just a hard hitting match. And I love that we're not, since we don't have a story for Toni, we're just letting her have these banger matches. I love that we're doing that. Just keep giving her banger matches. Let her go out there and just kill it in the division.
And she's doing it with everyone.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm going to just ride the top of the card.
Yeah.
Frost, Aminata, she is literally just going down the list.
Yeah.
I do kind of wonder if, she's killing it, CMLL. I do kind of wonder, there's part of me that wonders, is this Toni doing a final run? Let's just go through everybody before I drop the title all in.
Oh, okay, so that's what you mean by a final run of, like, before I drop the title. I was gonna say, because I don't see her leaving anytime soon. But yeah, I could see it as like we're gonna run through a bunch of people and almost do the anti-Mercedes, right? So like Mercedes is doing nothing but going against champs. Her saying, "I'm gonna defend this title against everybody." I could see that being a thing.
Storm is only 29.
Mm-hmm.
She was born the year after I graduated high school.
She's only 5 apples high. I still don't understand what the means. Number 2 from SmackDown, Aleister Black's return match. He faced The Miz. Here's the thing I like about these matches that WWE puts on now is, could this have been a squash match? Absolutely. Aleister could have came in here, just kicked his head off, we were done. Miz got to have some back and forth with him. He got to have some good stuff. Black had a comeback after the first commercial break. He did a spinning kick, which was not quite the Black Mass at first, which almost looked like it ended the match, but not quite. She's absolutely putting a positive spotlight on the women's roster. We saw back in the day when they teased a little bit about doing a women's show. Like, her being the face of that women's show would have been the best thing that they could have done. Anyway, one of the greatest things that happened on that match, though, is you don't see amazing counters to moves very often, but we got a cartwheel out of the skull-crushing finale, which was really cool to see. Followed by a spinning, it looked like it was supposed to be a kick, looked more like a knee, but then we got the Black Mass out of it. And the fact that it still feels so lethal, like that kick looks like it kicks the shit out of whoever he kicks with it, and especially the way Miz sells it. Miz sells it so well. He just
Part of that is Tommy End, Malachi Black, is so well trained. He knows the right moment to pull that for it to still look devastating.
Yeah. I did have one issue with what they did in it, and that's that Aleister Black didn't sell the it kicks at all. I understand why, but
I'm hoping that that's the end of the it kicks.
okay.
Because if they're not working, why is he going to keep doing it? You know what I mean?
I see what you mean.
And let's be honest, it's about time for Miz to change up his moveset. He does that. I mean,
Yeah.
he doesn't get credit for it, but he does that.
Yeah. But it was a good match overall. It not being a squash is kind of my favorite part about it. He's absolutely one of the best strikers in the game for sure. Um, I
Absolutely.
I think under Trip, and I know it's hard to be behind him with some of the stuff recently, but I think behind Trip because he was one of the original Triple H guys. He didn't want him to come up from NXT because he knew it'd be squandered, and then he was squandered, and then he was let go. So, like, I think under Trip, he's going to be a lot bigger star. Um, but it, to me, it gave a lot of hope that we're not just going to have him run through people, which is really nice. And this automatically sets up a thing, well, obviously with him and Carmelo, which him and Carmelo are going to tear the house down absolutely.
If
So,
he hits that black mask on Carmelo coming off the ropes,
oh,
it's going to be that may be better than the Shelton Shawn spot,
yep.
which
Uh,
to me was the spot for the longest time.
but before I move on to my number 3, though, I do want to shine a light on the Miz, though, of like him selling that. It reminds me of a video that I keep seeing once in a while of there's a guy that shows off getting shot in the head, like how to act that and how to fall. And every time he sold that black mask kick, that's what it reminded me of because it just looks like dead center hit, and then he like props and falls. Like so, just sold so well. People have been giving him a lot of flack, especially in these releases here lately. I've been seeing a lot of people like throwing his name of why is he still here. That's why, because you can put him in there with anybody, and he's going to make them look like $1,000,000. Um, my number 3 is possibly the only thing in wrestling recently that has made me tear up and want to jump out of my seat. And this was the Jey Uso Paul Heyman promo that happened. God bless, I have not seen that much fire out of Paul Heyman in a long time. And here's the thing that I love about this. Paul's not wrong. Everything he said in there, he believes because it is absolutely true. He talks about, well, hold on. So first of all, Jey Uso comes out. He massive pop as usual, doing the whole yeet thing. Like it, absolutely. Paul Heyman comes out, and the first thing that Jay says is like, I don't understand why you're trying to come out here and talk to me with what you did to Roman. And then that just sets off this tirade from Paul of, you don't understand what I've been through. Like, my best friend asked me for a favor that I promised him years ago to be there with him with all the shit he had to go through for him to main event WrestleMania. What did Roman think was going to happen? Did he think I was going to sell Roman's secrets to him? Why would I do that? I spent 5 years building the bloodline. I spent 5 years taking him from being a big dog to have him running the show for 1,316 days. Why would I do that? First time he gets beat, he loses that title to Cody. What happens? He goes back to being a big dog licking his wounds, leaves me here with Solo and those Tongans, and they put me through a table and almost end my career. And did he come back to avenge me? No, he came back to get his damn Ulafala. Holy crap. The thing that finally got me on this is he's talking about like um he's always the one that's labeled as the liar. He's always the one that's labeled as the scumbag. He's always the one labeled the villain. He's like, not this time. I'm right. I'm in the right. And he's not wrong.
No, he's not.
It was an absolutely heart-wrenching promo. We do find out when he goes back to the back, it was all bullshit.
Which is great.
He played a part
I
making Seth Rollins. I'll let you finish here in a second, but I just want to make sure I get this out so I don't forget it. Seth Rollins becoming the cerebral assassin by sending him out there to do that promo to get him to agree to a match with him and Seth. And then him explaining it to Braun, because Braun seems confused, of, listen, Roman trained to beat Seth and lost. CM Punk trained to beat Seth and lost. Jey Uso, as great as he is, he beat Gunther. He made him tap out. But he's not trained to beat Seth, and now he's facing Seth tonight. Brilliant.
Yeah. That whole segment was so good, and it was honestly one of the better Jay segments too.
Yeah.
And 100% Stampede. The Pat McAfee Gunther segment was fantastic.
I'll have to YouTube that
I
other one you
like
talked about
this.
there.
Do what?
I'll have to YouTube the other one he's talking about there of Tam retiring.
Yeah, it was
I'll have to see that
amazing.
one.
But this was, again, I feel like this was a go out and say whatever, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing he said was this reminded me of CM Punk's AEW promo. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep.
So this was a great segment. So Jay, when he was talking, mentioned Logan Paul before Paul Heyman came out.
Yeah.
They never went back to it until after they went off the air, when he's out seeing the fans and catches that right.
Yeah.
Um,
Which those that don't know that, so after Raw went off the air, Jay's out there celebrating with the fans. Someone in a hoodie cold cocks him. Like, that punch looks stiff.
Yeah, I did.
Then come to find out it was Logan Paul. Go ahead.
To me, that's one of those things. Take the extra 2 or 3 minutes of airtime. Show that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything happens. Tell him. Go outside for whatever reason. Have Jay out there with the fans. It would have taken 2 minutes. And you literally in the show with Jay laid out and Logan Paul throwing the hood off.
I don't disagree with you. I will say, though, there is something about that, because, like, I think back to the KO and Cody Rhodes thing that happened backstage. The social media hit, to me, is almost worth not ending the show with that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And
sure.
You're not wrong, Stampede. The waltzing around I was like, oh.
Yeah, not the
okay.
waltzing around that you were doing. Holy shit.
They have announced Joe Hendry versus Trick for the TNA title at Battleground.
Ooh.
That may actually happen.
Yeah, it's another one of those. Like, at some point, they're going to have to pull the trigger, and someone's going to have to be a crossover champion.
And if it's Trick, that's fantastic.
Yeah, Trick being a crossover champion, because then you lead it back to Trick versus Oba. Trick's got his title now. Oba has his title. You could tell a story with that. All right, we're going to go on with your 3 count here. So your first one was Megan Bayne versus Harley Cameron from Dynamite. Wrath meets Resistance.
It was Collision.
Was that Collision? Oh, that okay. Yeah, that's right. That was Collision.
Yes, Oba versus Big Mike. Look, I saw that and I'm like, what the fuck?
Hey, baby Randy can get it. Let him get up there.
No, absolutely not. He is going to no. The only way he doesn't just job immediately is if somebody else gets involved.
Well,
here's the thing.
This may
be a Brock.
I
This
think
may go faster than Brock and Kofi.
I think someone is going to get involved, but I don't think it's going to be on behalf of Miles.
Fair.
I think they're going to kick him out of the QCC.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think Charlie screws him because Charlie wanted him to help with something and he got thrown out because of it. Mike, bro,
No, hold on. Got it. Got it. I was going to say myself that it'd be great if Baby Randy can get it, because all he can hear is the voices in his head. But I'm sorry. Lord, I apologize. And be with the starving pygmies in New Guinea.
No, that's horrible.
Anyway, so yes.
Okay.
Megan Bain versus Harley Cameron. Go ahead.
I saw this and thought, okay, this is going to be an absolute squash. Megan Bain, Harley killed it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she has yet to disappoint. Yeah. Watching this match, I'm like, okay, it's over. 5 times. 5 or 6 times, I'm like, this is over.
Yeah.
I don't think Harley getting a sneaky roll-up win would have hurt Megan at all, especially if it was Penelope's fault or if Anna Jay had gotten involved.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't hate the way it ended. I think that what they're doing with Harley, we've many times discussed my love. No kidding, Big Mike. I'm driving the fucking bus. It's one of those things, as I love. Oh shit! Tyrese Halliburton just hit a game winner.
All right. You love Harley Cameron.
Yes.
Get the ADD in check.
I don't care that she loses. Like, her losing doesn't hurt her any.
It doesn't. She was a jobber not 4 months ago. So.
And now she's wrestling Collision against Megan Bain.
Yeah.
She killed it against Mercedes too.
Yeah. No, and it was great. Like, and the crowd was behind her. Like the first near fall, I think it was the first near fall. She hit that tilt-a-whirl DDT off the top and got a near fall for it. Like, and you almost thought maybe they were going to let her do this. But yeah, great match. The post match with Pure Heat 2 with Penelope Ford, fed Cameron back to Bain. And then Anna Jay came in for the save with a 2x4. And then you got Harley grabbing Anna Jay's fat ass.
And we all win.
And so there we go.
I love Harley, and what they're doing is fantastic. And I do think she should win a little more. I don't think she needs to win every time. But like I said, this was a perfect match for a sneaky roll-up win due to something outside. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think we can get that. I think her winning, like, because now obviously we need to have a tag match. Her winning the tag match by pinning Penelope. Don't pin Megan yet, but make that the big outcome. The big outcome of this is we're going to get either Anna Jay or Cameron to face Megan, and I think that would be a great capper to that story. Your number 2, you wanted to talk about Adam Cole being on commentary, which you said seemed odd.
Again, we've discussed my love of Adam Cole. Comes out, baby. Does his thing, baby. Okay, cool. Apparently, no one told him where to go after he did that, because he walked to the wrong place like 3 times, and they're like, "Bitch, it's up there."
Bitch, get out of here.
So he finally gets there, and it was so. For somebody who's so good on the microphone, it was so bad. It was just so bad. And half the time, he didn't even say anything. Absolutely, Big Mike.
For sure.
tag match, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's a lot of hotness too.
That's women
But
graps right there.
yes, it's one of those things that I love Adam Cole. I am all for anything Adam Cole, except that it was just so bad.
So
Like,
here's my issue. Adam Cole, I think, is one of those that, unless he has a purpose on the mic, he's not that great on the mic. If he has to go out there and vamp, he's not that great at it. Because his vamping is chugs. And he can't be chugs while being Adam Cole. He can't. So, I think that's kind of the problem. However, I will say this. I do like if we're going to do this as a thing. Because he wasn't out there, like, promoting a match. He wasn't out, like, there was no other reason he was out there other than, like, hey, we're going to rotate in a wrestler. And
the
so,
problem
if we're going
is,
to do that and just kind of rotate in wrestlers, I'm okay with that because that's how we end up finding out, like, Samoa Joe is great on commentary.
oh
That's how
my
we
God,
find.
Joe's amazing.
That's how
But
we.
that's just it, though. If we're gonna do this, there are other, I hate to say it, give me Roddy yelling people's names all fucking night.
Well, no, there's other people. I'm just saying though, like if that's gonna be a thing of just we're just gonna be rotating in people, I'm good with that. Sometimes it's not gonna
Right.
fly, and sometimes it's gonna
It
be
just,
great, but
this
it
was
wasn't
so
great this
bad.
time.
So bad.
Yeah, it's it was a little weird. He did have some good insights during the Dag and Cash match with their team psychology. So I mean, he did have some good stuff in there. But for the
I actually didn't even see that match yet, so.
but most of it was very awkward. He was a weird third man. Your number 3, Roxanne Perez and Io Sky, Flash versus fight from WWE Raw. Go ahead.
At any point, if someone says EO is not a main event high level talent, it's on site.
Mhm.
On site.
I'll even go one better. Copy and paste what Stampede said about the previous women's match that we just talked about.
Yeah.
And put that here. Because these two knocked it out of the damn park. Roxanne being in this match with Io, first of all, is a great confidence builder for Roxanne because that shows what they want with her. And this
when
match,
they call Roxanne the Prodigy, they're not kidding.
No.
She can get in there, and obviously we're going to get Rhea and Io against Julia and Roxanne, and that match's going to be fucking amazing too. Io has literally, over the last 2 years, it's not, her in-ring work is still just top notch.
Yeah.
Her personality is catching up.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why it's so much more entertaining now. The fact that she's doing the little head thing and fans are doing it with her.
Yeah. Well, it's finding that thing, right? Like, and maybe that's all it took. It took her interacting with the crowd. Because previously, like, she had that kind of personality, but she wasn't really doing it with the fans. And now her doing it is great. Yes, absolutely. Great way to bring both of them to another level. So that match was great. I don't know about you. My favorite thing, though, was the finish. I think the finish was amazing.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
You have this chain wrestling of pins, and finally just Roxy got caught.
Yep. And those are the kind of finishes that kind of finish is exactly what we should have gotten Saturday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should change her name back too.
To Io Shirai?
Yes. I don't think it hurts her at all right now if she said, look, I know that this is what everyone's called me, but this is my name.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I was known by in NXT. and I'm the genius of the sky, Io Shirai. It sounds so much better.
It does. It does kind of roll off the tongue with it all together like that. And I'm sure that that's why they changed it in the first place. Of like, we're not going to call you Genius of the Skies. If she's going to start bringing that moniker in, I can see where you're coming from with that. Of bring back the
Because
name then too.
they've used that name repeatedly recently.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then change your name back.
Yeah. But just a great match. Like from start to finish, it was amazing. I didn't see any real problems with anything that happened in this match.
No.
And
The ending was so perfect too.
Some of it looked very stiff too, which I think would helped both of them. I think getting those stiff kicks and stiff knees in there absolutely helps both of them.
Roxy shaking hands and walking, and then Julie. So perfect.
I could see that. I could see that.
So perfect. Like that's the kind of heel stuff you expect, and that's what you should get.
Yeah. Very unprecedented. We have a very special 4 count because there was a thing we were both going to put on our list, and it just didn't quite make it. But I agree with you with both of us saying that this should have been on the list somewhere. I felt like we had to talk about it. And especially because, honestly, I've been giving this girl a lot of hate in the past. And, much like you with Elias back in the day, I feel like I'm starting to come around a little bit. We had Becky Lynch come out to do a promo. Got interrupted by Lyra. Good Lord. Lyra has gotten so much better on the mic. And I don't know if it's because she's more comfortable working with Becky. I'm not sure what's going on there, but she's so much smoother on the mic right now. But you got Becky that's coming out there. She's berating the crowd. She's like, I don't know why you guys are doing this to me. You're booing me. I understand that I took out Bayley, but when I walked out at WrestleMania, nobody was asking where Bayley was. You had people out in the crowd bawling with happy tears because I'm back. And now you want to boo me. So much so she even, like, on a recent interview, this is separate from this, but on the interview, she brought up the fact that people were calling her Becky Hogan. And she goes, I did everything that I've done for you guys, and you want to call me in reference to the most detestable person on the planet? Like, oh,
she
God.
hates him too.
Oh, shit.
Here's the thing. And I know full well part of the reason for the boos was because everybody thinks Becky had something to do with some of the releases.
Mm-hmm.
This whole back and forth was, I know, Big Mike. As crazy as it sounds, I was so excited for it. They're setting up her and Bayley for like SummerSlam. It's going to be so good. It's one of those things. Too many times with somebody that's as established as Becky, they don't always do a good job of putting over that younger talent. Yes. 100%. How many times have you and I both said, I don't understand her character?
Yeah.
I hate to say it. I don't need to understand her character after this.
I don't
give a shit about her character.
And that's the thing, right? Like, so when she first showed up, we were holding on to this, like, her name has to do with the history of the Valkyries and all this stuff, and that's why she comes out with the feathers and all that. And I honestly just didn't care. You start telling me how passionate you are. You start talking well on the mic just as you as a person, not with this character that they've wrapped you up in. I'm good. I'm done. I'm good. Let's keep doing that. But she comes out and she is laying into her. She's calling Becky recycled. She's saying, yeah, you're great. Obviously, we need to start singing your praises. You were the first woman to win, to main event WrestleMania and to win the main event at WrestleMania. You were the first Oh, no, wait. No, that was me. Great.
Look, that line delivery was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was when I went, okay, Lyra can go.
Yeah, for sure.
So I just, like I said, we have talked about, I don't understand the character. What is this? They've explained it, and I still don't understand it.
Yeah, there was a whole promo when she first showed up on Raw that was just like, here's why she's called Lyra Valkyria.
Something about Norse gods, and I mean, cool, whatever. But I honestly, I don't give a shit about her character now. Give me more of this.
Yeah, for sure. And I do want to say, like, her learning in the ring against the opponent, like the kayfabe learning, not the real learning, the kayfabe learning of this, where Becky was going to do the same fake out again of, like, I'm going to turn away from you and say something, and then I'm going to come back and hit you. And she catches that, hits her with a spin kick, and just, like, battles her to the ground, and we get this pull apart. I love it.
Yeah,
Stampy's right. It sometimes, yeah, they think we need these big
yeah,
gimmicks, and sometimes we don't.
right, 100%.
Just
We don't.
just give me Lyra.
Let her be this person. Like, this is one of those things. Let her just walk out with a bad attitude, even as a face, and just be that person.
Yeah, just be who she is. The entrance and all that stuff, that keep that stuff in that. That's fine. But when you're out there,
I don't care about that stuff.
Yeah, I don't care about that when you're in the ring.
If you tell me Lyra has a match, can we just come back from commercial with her in the ring or like right by it? Because I don't care. I just want to see what she does in the ring.
Yeah.
And she's gotten in there and gone with anybody.
Well, and because of how good she's been doing, though, like, the fans have been catching on with that entrance too, because the whole idea of her music is, like, it gets to that point and, like, it hits and you woo, and it hits and you woo, and the fans are starting to come along with it. But it started happening when they start seeing what she can do. That's what we want to see. That's what we care about. You know, it's like the opposite phrase of what they've always said is that, and then the bell rings. So yeah, you've got this great entrance and everything, but once the bell rings, that's what we're paying attention to. So for our final section for the night, we're going to go over a Twitter topic. So the internet has been taken over by a certain topic. TikTok has also been taken over by the same topic. Everything I've seen on YouTube has some sort of reference to this, so we're going to talk about it too. So the question is, 100 men or a gorilla? I'm going to change this for our world, though. Give me just a second.
Here, look, while he's doing that, I don't think people understand how apex predators work. I don't give a fuck who the 100 people are. If you're standing toe to toe with a silverback gorilla, you're not fucking winning that fight. I don't give a shit how bad you all think you are. I don't think people understand how apex predators work.
Did I lose you?
No, I'm just trying to fix my camera because I.
Sorry, you ended on that note and then your camera went out. And I'm like, oh,
I'm
God.
done. That was my mic drop. I'm out.
Done. I'm out.
I just. And they've started doing it with other animals. Literally. Literally. But that's what I'm saying. I don't think you all understand how apex predators work and why they have that name. And no, I'm not talking about Randy Orton. Okay? In terms of wrestling, yes. If I'm building a company from the ground up, he's my number one every time. I don't care what anybody says. If I'm building a company from the ground up, I'm taking Randy Orton every time. Even now. But 100 people against a gorilla? No.
Okay.
No.
So now that I've got to hear how you feel about that, here's why I wanted to talk about it, because I want to do a spin on it, right? We're a wrestling podcast. We're not going to talk about 100 men and a gorilla. That's not what we're about.
If you say Gorilla Monsoon, I'm hanging up on you.
No. However, did you know, fun fact, while we're talking about that, did you know that Billy Gunn is the same age as Gorilla Monsoon was right now? Like when he
I'm
was
sorry, what?
when Gorilla Monsoon was commissioner, when
Okay.
Raw started,
Uh-huh.
he is the same age then as Billy Gunn is now. Look it up. It's fucking crazy.
I'm sorry. I'm
That's what that age is supposed to look like, apparently. Anyway, so here's the wrestling spin on it, and I love the fact that we have an audience of this. Hopefully, Sped's still here. I see that Big Mike's still in the chat, Stampede's still in the chat. Chat, please, please, please throw in your answers on this as well. I'm going to take a little bit of a spin of this question and the question that they ask on No Contest Wrestling.
okay.
You get told that you have to fight a gorilla. What 5 wrestlers are you taking with you to fight that gorilla?
What the fuck? Why? Why are we doing this?
Because it's fun.
So here's the problem. Am I in this fight or am I just spectating?
You're in this fight. You got to bring five wrestlers with you.
Okay, look. The first thing I'm doing is bringing 4 people I can outrun. Okay.
That's your main concern. I gotcha. All right. You're
If
not
you
trying to
wanna
win.
talk
You're just
even-
trying to live.
How old is Billy Gunn and Gorilla? Stan.
I don't know, but he's 12 bananas tall.
What the fuck? The wheels have fallen off.
They have.
5 people besides me.
Yeah. 5 people, you're going to fight a gorilla.
Jesus. Bronson Reed.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of like legitimate tough guys too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same idea as the no contest question of like, if you're trying to win a fight, like who legitimately you're bringing with you to try to win this fight.
Honestly, Cesaro.
Okay. Pound for pound, strongest man in the
Fabio,
business.
whatever.
Been told about that. Been said about him.
Yeah, we've talked
bunch
about
of
it
times.
forever. Jeff Cobb,
Okay.
I feel like could hold his own.
Okay. So that's 3.
I'm taking Darby Allin because that motherfucker is crazy.
Just for the fact that he's nuts.
I mean, that man is crazy.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, he did the world's tallest kick flip, I guess, while he's doing his.
Yeah, I saw that.
Jesus Christ.
Guinness Book of World Records for the highest altitude kickflip.
I mean, that's a hell of a team there, Stampede.
Jacob Fatu.
There you go. All right.
That's my 5th one.
That's your 5th. All right. I'm gonna steal Fatu because that was already one I was thinking. So Fatu's there. Minoru Suzuki, for the same reason that you said about Darby Allin. Murder Grandpa is just crazy.
Yeah. Murder Grandpa. I'm here for that.
I'm gonna say Braun Strowman, just because he's a big bear of a bastard himself. So why not? I kind of feel like saying Bianca. I feel like she could actually, like, if nothing else, she could outrun the damn gorilla.
Otis, Piper, Nia, Bronson, and Tonga look. I feel like I can safely outrun Jeff Cobb and Bronson Reed, so I think I'm good.
There you go. And for the sake of what you and Big Mike are both alluding to right there, James Ellsworth, because I'll just trip him and get the fuck away.
Look, if any man with 2 hands has a chance
to be a banana to a big gorilla. But that was fun. Thank you guys for being part of that. Real quick, when a terrified man insists a ghost is out for his life, Sean and Gus dive headfirst into a spine-tingling mystery full of eerie noises, hidden secrets, and a very angry spirit, or so it seems. Can Team Psych solve the supernatural, or will this be the scariest case yet? Don't miss it next on Psych. What happened here?
I don't know what happened here. Okay, we got Big Mike. Did anybody else chime in on this? Stampede did.
Yep.
I don't think I think Sped left. Hater.
That's fine.
Hater.
Big Mike, feel free to steal that if you want to throw that on your show.
John Cena's debut on Psych. Nice.
That was a great episode. Absolute great episode. All right. Anything else wrestling wise you want to bring up, ma'am, before we end the day?
Saturday is something.
Saturday's Backlash.
Battleground? What is it?
Backlash.
Backlash.
The pay-per-view that we I'll leave that up to you. I mean, they forgot about that pay-per-view, and I think everybody else is probably going to forget about it too.
That's fair. We don't have to.
I will say, if nothing else, maybe we get on here and just have a conversation, just talk while it's on there.
Okay.
But one thing we definitely will be back for is we'll be back on Thursday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, to do some more GM mode. We just finished out WrestleMania, so if you didn't see WrestleMania's finish up there, because we had a massive comeback at the end, as far as who won the first season. We're currently in the second season. We'll be building to the first pay-per-view of the second season. So come by and watch that. A lot of fun. But that's it for tonight, folks. Just remember, wrestling today is the biggest buffet you've ever seen. You don't have to love everything on the table, but let people enjoy what's on their plate. Load up on what hits for you. Catch us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, BlueSky, and sign up for the Kicking Out at 2 Discord right above my lovely head here to drop your thoughts, share your faves, and keep this conversation going. In the meantime and in between time, we will catch you on the next one. Bye.
Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at 2.